I'm gonna let y'all in on something. Everybody is continually talking about we have to shut down the border. We have to stop these drugs from pouring into the country. It's killing our kids. It's killing our citizens. We have to put an end to it. We have to keep the drugs from coming into this country. Well, here's the facts of the matter. As long as there is a demand for something, you'll never stop the supply. Never. As long as people are going to ingest the drugs, they're going to pay for them, people are going to get them here. I don't care if you build a 20-foot wall, 10-foot thick around the entire country. People will get drugs in here if they can make money off of it. It's called supply and demand, okay? What we really need to do, if we want to stop our children from dying, if we want to stop all this opioid epidemic and everything that's going on in this country, we got to come to grips with the fact that the drugs are a symptom of the problem. They're not the problem, they're a symptom of the problem. A drug addict is a person who has been traumatized or has something happen to them in their past that they cannot deal with, or they feel empty inside from some traumatic thing that happened. Maybe they don't even know what it is. Maybe they haven't been able to even remember what happened to them because it was so traumatic that their brain won't let them remember. But addiction is caused by people wanting to escape the emptiness inside, wanting to escape the horrible thoughts in their head, wanting to escape the traumatic memories, wanting to just feel normal for a minute. And when you first start doing opiates, you feel like Superman. You can work harder, you don't hurt, you can work all day, come home, feel good, hang out with your family and be happy, and everything's wonderful. 6 months later, you need twice as much of the medication to get the same feeling, and if you don't have the medicine, then you feel like you're going to die. That's where the problem lies. You slowly become so dependent upon the drug that you don't feel like you can live without it. When I was prescribed massive amounts of opiates because I broke my back in 2005, I didn't have any intention on becoming an addict. But 10 years later, I was borderline suicidal. I didn't think I would ever be able to beat it because I would try to quit and my body would hurt so bad. I would throw up, vomit, be on the toilet, crawling around the house, like praying I would die because I didn't want to hurt this bad anymore. And it took me going to jail, detoxing in jail, going to rehab, and getting a lot of therapy to deal with the trauma in my past. And I blame the doctors for prescribing me all the opiates for a long time. But then once I really started getting into therapy, I realized that I had been practicing destructive behavior my whole life. I might not have been addicted to drugs, but I had been self-destructing every 5 to 7 years. I would build up a wonderful life. I would have everything going on for me. Good job, nice house, new car, and I would tear everything down. And now that I realize that I have an addiction problem and I'm in recovery, and I realized that my car don't have brakes, so I can't take it out apart because I'll go 0 to 100 real fast. If I even let myself start doing any drugs, then I'm going to spin out of control in a matter of months because I can't control it. And it's because of my traumatic childhood, of my traumatic young adulthood, and the fact that I still go to therapy twice a month. And my psychiatrist has diagnosed me with PTSD, traumatic, chronic anxiety disorder, hyperactive disorder, ADHD. I don't have any kind of depression. I don't have any kind of thoughts of self-harm. But subconsciously, if I don't pay attention to every detail of every moment of every day, I will subconsciously self-destruct. And it took me years to figure this out. So instead of spending millions and trillions of dollars trying to stop the drugs from coming into the country, why don't we start spending some money on getting the addicts some help, getting them some therapy, getting them better so that they can fix the brakes in their car. So they're not addicts. Are there addicts in recovery like me? You can stop a person from becoming an addict if you get to them before they get to the point where they start using drugs to hide from their own emotions or to fill a void inside themselves. And that's what this country needs. It needs less stigma on mental health, and it needs more mental health. I think that in high school, there should be at least one period a day where it's nothing but group therapy. And the kids talk about their feelings and their emotions and how to handle that and the things they're going through and how to let that out and not internalize it, not push it down inside them until it becomes like a cancerous tumor and it's eating away at them and making them feel empty inside, so it pushes them into a life of addiction. There are better ways to do this than to try to stop the supply. Let's stop the demand. If we stop the demand, the supply will stop on its own. I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I am an addict in recovery. And I do know a little bit about economics. And as far as I know, as long as there's ever been a demand for anything, they've never been able to stop the supply. They tried this during Prohibition. They tried to outlaw alcohol. But there was such a demand for alcohol that it just made crime rampant because people was, organized criminals were getting rich off moonshine and speakeasies and bathtub gin. As long as there is a need for something, somebody will supply it. It's supply and demand. Y'all all learn this in school if you made it through high school. If there is a need for something, if there is a demand for it, somebody will supply it. Okay? So let's stop trying to stop them from getting the illicit drugs into the country. And let's start dealing with the mental problems that I would say 60 to 70% of Americans have. That I'm not saying 60 to 70% of Americans are drug addicts. I'm saying they all have a need for some therapy. We've all had something traumatic happen to us. I personally was beaten as a child severely. I was molested by a couple of my female babysitters when I was a young child. And then when I was in my early 20s, I lost my first son when he was 7 years old to Ewing sarcoma, a rare bone cancer. And that's a lot for a young person to deal with. And it caused me to have self-destructive behavior. And it caused my life to be a lot harder than it had to be. And then once I got on opiates, I became a full-blown addict. So if I would have taken the time, and there wasn't such a stigma about it, I would have sought out therapy years before this ever happened. And I would have been prepared for the rough road I had ahead. So instead of spending all this money on trying to stop it from coming here, let's spend half that much money on trying to help the people get better, or help the people not develop the problem to begin with. Because if we can stop the addiction problem, if we can stop the demand for the drug, they won't ship it here. There'll be no need to. If they can't sell it here, they're not gonna bring it here. Okay? Now let's do this logically. It's only my opinion. I'm allowed to speak my opinion under Constitution, freedom of speech. This is an opinion, not a fact. Take it as you may, but in my opinion, this is the proper way to handle the drug epidemic. Billy Cooper signing out.